Welcome back to another episode of the Pick Six podcast. We're going to do our version of Pardon the Interruption. Hopefully we have enough topics. Here's the reality is Dennis and I have had a very busy week, and we're just like logging in, not exactly with knowing what we're going to talk about, but we're just going to kind of roll with it and hope for the best.
You take the card and put it in the sleeve.
DPZ, how you doing? How's your week?
It's good, brother. How are you? I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, as far as, I'm good. I think that sometimes it's nice to have, okay, now I'm hearing you on my speaker, right? It's nice to have it kind of be like open-ended, right? Because I think sometimes we do come in here and we're like, yeah, we know exactly what we want to talk about. And we're like, yeah, this is exactly what we're fired up about. We got our opinions already kind of strategized. And we're like, all right, today, today we're just going to roll.
Yeah, we're just winging it. We've got some soothing music in the background in case we trigger anybody. Hopefully that music brings them back. Mm-hmm. And so where do we want to start? Let's start
with this. There's a story you sent me, and it was about the forgeries of in-person autographs. Mickey Mantle and some very... Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let me go back to that story.
In-person autographs are not something I'm really crazy about anyway, because I feel like I like the pack-pulled ones, the ones that are meant. Yeah, they're meant to be in the set. You know, there's like someone there from Topps or Panini or whatever, Fleer or whatever brand that's like watching them sign it. So you kind of have that authenticity and just feels better, I guess. I don't know, like. It's too easy to fake a signature, in my opinion. I human beings authenticating it. I don't know, man. This makes me nervous.
I think it's the toughest part of the hobby. I really think it's like the toughest part of the hobby is, unless it's witnessed, unless it's a grading company that's, like Beckett witnessed it or CGC or PSA or whatever. Right. Yeah, basically the story I sent you was autograph forgeries in museum ? And so I guess the whole thing is like you have all these like crazy autograph items that are in this museum. But people are looking at it, experts are looking at it, and they're like, hold on a second, like this person, how could they have signed this in this time period? Like it wasn't adding up. And so the whole, like the FBI is investigating it essentially, but just going back in time, it's kind of exactly what you said. I mean, there's been like decades of FBI investigations into, fake autographs, going all the way back to the 80s, especially, and scene. And so the museum's trying to figure out, I guess, are these real? And I think that just kind of, when you think about all the sports memorabilia over time at the National Card Show or, any of these card shows, there's got to be some that's just slipped through the cracks that dealers don't even necessarily know that it's not authentic. It's probably stuff that's like just passed through over time.
I sent in an in-person auto that I got when I was a kid. And I watched him sign it. Like it was at Got a Card Show. It was a Brett Hull, a 91 score, and he signed it. And I've had it for like ever. It was like one of those cool cards you kept, right? Because it was the coolest thing back when I got it. I sent it into PSA for authentication, and it came back inauthentic. So go outside, play. Just be quiet, maybe. No, why don't you come over and get into the episode while Daddy does the episode? That's what you should do. Not go outside, not listen to what your dad says, but let's just come on over and invite ourselves into the show because that's what you. All right, sorry.
DPZ's got all sorts of battles. He's going. Yeah, he's battling at home there. So he's not just talking to himself for viewership. He's not just talking to himself. The multiple personalities.
I don't know, man. Maybe you should just keep this in the episode. I got all my kids home today, so we're squeezing this sucker in. Anyway. I had that card and I had it sent into PSA and it came back. What did they say?
Like not able to authenticate or something, or they're
correct.
Not, something like that.
Which is like, I'm like, well, what are you talking about? I literally watched him sign it. I know and you look at that auto compared to other auto, I'm like, well, this looks authentic. It looks, even if you're trying to judge it, it looks like, so I don't know. Once that came back like that, I always kind of made me wonder, I'm like, well, man, any of these in-person autos, who knows? I mean, it just makes me want to stick to the cards that were signed. They're meant to be signed. They came out of the packs that way, right?
Right.
It just, to me, it's way safer, I think. I think it's the safest.
Yeah, because it is truly just an opinion. You're paying for an opinion on those in-person autos. I think that's the toughest part. If you're trying to authenticate and or grade as a grading company, those have to be the hardest cards to deal with.
Yeah, I think so too. But on the other side of that conversation, I mean, if you were there and you saw him sign it, you probably don't need to slab it because you already know it's authentic, right? It's just that you're probably not going to sell that because now they can't authenticate it. But theoretically, you probably wouldn't, right? Because that's a memory and you want to keep it. So I kind of was like, not the end of the world for me. But it does beg that question. Like, okay, they're human. They're going to make mistakes. And it's just like anything else. So.
All right. Next topic. We'll move on to the next topic. What were you looking at this week card-wise? I know that you had a couple of buys that just came in the mail. I don't know if you want to talk about those, but if not, what about just stuff that you've been looking at, perusing this week?
Yes, no problem. So I have gone down another rabbit hole, and I think I'm even snobbier now than I was before, and I think a lot of you probably thought I was snobby with all my 90s cards. But I have befriended a really awesome collector, Summertime One of Ones. He's just a great collector, super helpful. One of those guys that teaches you about stuff, which is just awesome. So, if he's watching, I'm super grateful for. It's one of those, like we talked about the last time we had our show, where you get to know somebody, and they teach you about the hobby, they introduce you to people in the hobby. More importantly, they have cards, or they're able to get cards that you would never be able to get unless you had that relationship with said collector, right? So you kind of get access to like very rare, unique stuff that you're not going to find unless you know this, right? And it's not even cards that are on his IG page, right? There are cards that are kind of all you have
now.
To do
is it all sports? Is it non-sports? Is it all baseball, or is it all over the place?
Mostly sport. Yeah, like 99.9% sports. So I'm like mail day in it right now. It'll be live
in real time.
In real time. Well, real time is watching on Saturday.
Hopefully it's not an empty box.
He packs it really well. I'll give you that, man. He packed it really, really well. Yeah. So what I got was, get it out of the sleeves so you can see it better. A Bryce Harper 2024 PSA 10 Superfractor, base Superfractor.
2024. Okay, so that's a new product. That's
modern, and a 2021 Mike Trout PSA 10 Superfractor 1 of 1 base.
So are you somebody? Yeah, are you leaning into Mike Trout now that he's kind of off the radar a little bit, or is that just kind of like I just wanted to grab a cool card for Trout?
I want a Trout for sure. Harper was kind of like, it's available, I guess I'll get the Harper. It wasn't like I didn't wake up thinking I got to find a Harper card. No, it was. I asked him like, hey, any Superfractors you want to let go of, and these weren't that crazy because I got a couple Ray Allens, and who else do I have? I think I just got 2 Ray Allens. Yeah, I got 2 Ray Allen Supers. I'm gonna try to get a third from this guy, a really rare one that you just basically with the Superfractor base Superfractors 1 of 1s. I mean, there's only so many of them. There's like 5 or 10 of them, maybe. Playing days.
So are you consolidating into 1 of 1, or are you just thinking like, are you consolidating into that like as a thing, or is that just more of like, you know what, I'm gonna add some of these to my collection. I want them to be 1 of 1s.
Yes. So this one here, I just traded a Michael Jordan, the 89 Flair sticker. I traded that PSA 10.
It hurts my feelings. I love that.
Sorry, buddy. But there's 84 of those. There's 1 of those. It's a playing days. It's 2024. There's only going to be so many. So the refractor, the Superfractor game is kind of different. It's like you collect the base. Like the most desirable is the base Topps Chrome, and then the next most desirable is the base finest Chrome, Topps finest. Then a Bowman, it kind of goes down that line. Of course, then aesthetically, if there's a really cool insert variation, those are cool too. Sometimes they drive the value, but ultimately, across all sports, it's the base parallel version of the original base card for that Topps Chrome set.
The 1 of 1 refractor.
The 1 of 1. That 1 of 1 Superfractor is the one. So you feel like this, like the Trout, he only has like 17. He'll have probably 16, 17 in his whole career. That'll be it. A base. There's tons of variations. There's Superfractors left and right, but the base is what you collect, right? So the 2021 I got from another great collector, and I got it privately, and I got this one privately with the Bryce, right? So that's never traded hands. I think there's only been 2 Bryce Harpers that sold since 2013 publicly, and only 2 Trouts that have sold publicly. Base Superfractor 1 of 1s, and this Trout's the only PSA 10, and I believe it's the only PSA 10 Harper too. So yeah, kind of cool. I mean, they're $3,000 to $4,000 cards value. So they're not crazy, super crazy expensive, but they're cool. They're cool. They're one of ones and they're the base. And so I thought, it's kind of fun. There are a lot of players you can get one of ones of that, are less marketable players. But I was like, I want to stick to the stars if I can help it. Ray is someone I'm going to have a few of, but there's Ray only has like 6 or 7, right? Since 2005, it goes to 2010 or something. I think until that's when Topps lost it, or 2011 or 9 or whatever. So there's only like 6 or 7 of his. So those are super rare. I have one of his 2007s. The basketball ones are out of control. They're really expensive. All of them are like 15 to 20K, no matter what the grade. So yes, I think it's kind of cool. Like I've always said, the downside of collecting these kind of cards is like you hold the only one. So the only way to see a valuation or understand maybe how much it might be worth is A, by what you paid for it, maybe how many times it's changed hands if it has, or what other one of ones in the similar era are selling for, or his other ones, like his maybe the year before or year after. So yeah, they're cool. I don't know. I'm kind of getting into them.
Yeah. Do you know if those particular cards have changed hands a lot? Is there some sales history, or is that guy pretty much had the cards, for years?
The Trout came out of a blaster box.
Oh, wow.
And the guy who sold it to me got it, pulled it, and graded it. So that has only been in his hands, and now it's in mine, and then it'll stay in mine. The Harper, which I say that, but honestly, I don't want to. I guess I'm positioning myself into cards I don't want to sell, because you remember the whole like catch and release thing. Yeah. I'm positioning myself into cards that I want to keep, because I don't want to sell cards I'll never get back, right? And that's what kind of stops me from selling a lot of the cards I have. It's like, well, I'm never going to get that back if I sell that. And there's something about that. Now that's got a little risky, because now I'm like, okay, I don't have any cards to sell to buy the cards I want to buy.
And then it puts pressure on the one, the want to buy stuff. It puts pressure on that,
right? And your cards that are like your usual collateral pieces are now like, I don't really have any anymore. So I'm gonna have to probably do that to get one more race super, and I'll probably have to move a lot of the cards that I would normally sell if I need to get it. So that's going to be a little risky, but
and then you turn to where your wife is like, hey, Dennis, why are we like doing garage sales every weekend? What's up with that? Why are we trying to raise money? And you're like, don't worry about it. I've just got a side project. There's something I'm raising money for.
Yeah.
All the kids' Christmas gifts are out in the driveway. That they just opened.
We're selling everything, man. Do you really want this anymore? You don't really play with this toy anymore.
Why is the TV out front? What are we doing?
We don't really need to watch TV. We just read books. Let's read books.
Yeah. Rotting us. It's rotting the brain. We
rotting the brain. I really just need another Superfractor. So yeah, I feel like I'm turning into a Superfractor snob, and I'm fully aware of it. And I'm watching myself do it. I'm like, what am I doing? What's going on here? But I just love.
You started to drink like tea.
Yeah, I'm like with the pinky up, and I scroll through all the peasants that have peasant cards now, and I just can't look at anything that doesn't that's not a one-of-one.
You spend hours on eBay just going through and looking for stuff that's overpriced. You can send a message to the seller like, do you think you're actually going to get that for that?
Get that peasant card. No,
there's people that actually do that though. Go through and they're like, overpriced. I'm going to write this person.
I think that's let's talk about that. Let's veer into that.
That's what we'll be doing when we're 60 and retired, and we're just like, we have nothing better to do all day. We'll just be like scrolling. Actually, we won't be scrolling on a phone. We'll have like our Google glasses on or whatever it is then. At that point, our virtual reality goggles where we go shopping.
I think what it is like when people have cards for sale that are at astronomical prices, obviously when you get hip enough, well, the one-on-one stuff, it's really hard because they can just narc the price they want. You can look at comparable sales, obviously, but that's really hard to do. So those are always like, well, you got to kind of work with the buyer or seller. It is what it is. How bad do you want it? Most of the time people go, I think that it's ultimately up to the seller. I mean, you price the card however you want to price it. It's your card. I mean, people shouldn't get upset about that. And I don't see why people think they need to reach out to them. Hey, this is way overpriced. I don't know who you think you are. I remember way back when I first got back in the hobby, some guy got really mad at me for how much I was charging for some box of cards or something like that. And he's angry with me. I was just like really upset. Like you're scamming people. I'm like, what are you talking about? How do you don't even know me. I don't even know. What are you talking about scamming people? Like what? Like he just wanted it for cheaper. And he was just trying to guilt me into like, you should be selling it for this. And then I go on his thing and I see he had it before and he was selling it for more. And I'm like, you're so full of it. Because a lot of these people are just, thankfully there's not as many. I think there's more, obviously the good outweighs the bad in a very big way.
Yeah. There are a lot of annoying hobbyists though in that way, where it's just like, God, it's like when it's good for them, it's good for them. When it's not good for them, it sucks. It's like, I just don't, how do you even like deal with people like that in real, like how does that person navigate the world? I don't get it. I think
victim mentality, everything happened to me. It's all happened to me. And life is that way. All right. What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know. We've got time for one more topic. We're going to keep this one a little short. And my mom is in town, so I've got a host as well.
Yeah. So Dustin's mom is giving him a time limit. He's got to go up and do his chores.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I haven't vacuumed the stairs yet. I mean, there's a lot that's the dog needs to be fed.
He's cleaned his room. He hasn't cleaned his room.
This is what family life looks like for people that are single and wondering, like, man, do I want to get married? Do I want to have kids? This is this is what you're signing up for. Okay, so heading into next week, are you going back to the one-of-one Superfractor thing, or are you going to be Ken Griffey Jr.ing or Barry Bonds? Are you searching for other things, or is this something that just like you're taking it week by week?
I don't know. I just feel like you're constantly curating your collection, right? You're constantly shifting it, moving it, and there's cards that just you don't sell, you don't move because you're like, well, those have kind of found their way into the vault, so to speak, and you can't, like, again, the more cards you have that if I sold it, I'm never getting it back. And with the one-of-ones, that's pretty accurate. I'm never getting that back. There's no way I'll get that back.
We're just consolidating. You know what it is we just find a way to consolidate us into putting new money back in. I feel like that's where we end up going with it, right?
I love the hobby. I love buying cards. I love playing with my cards. I love shifting them around. I love reevaluating them, looking at the values, seeing. I mean, candlelight dinners with them. Yeah, like taking them out to dinner. I just, I like them. I just think it's to me, it would be super boring to go, all right, I got that card, put it over here now. And okay, I'm going to just turn everything off for like 5 months. Like, no way, man.
No, but what I'm saying is okay. So if you get Superfractors, like you kind of consolidate into that stuff, but then are you going to have to just reach a point where you're like, you know what? I want this card, but I'm not selling anything. I just I'm putting new money in. I'm not selling. I'm putting new money in. I think the answer is probably yes.
I'm going to have to soon. Yeah. I think I have about 5 or 6 cards left that I could sell to fund another purchase if I wanted to, that I couldn't just do organically. And to spend money reasonably, I don't feel comfortable spending cash. 1 second. Please. Wow. Thank you. To spend money reasonably, I mean, $250, like, I'm like, that's probably like, I'll do that. But outside of that, I don't feel comfortable just going, oh yeah, let's take $3,000. And no, we need that for lots of things, and I can never do that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to if I want, because if I'm gonna have to take those cards I'm talking about and probably use them to trade to get this next card I really want, this Race Superfractor that I really want. So that's gonna leave me really, really tight. So I'm probably gonna be like, well, now I've really backed myself into a corner. And I'll have to start going, okay, which Superfractor do I really want to keep, kind of thing. But I don't know, man. I'm really liking the cards I have right now. I have that same feeling about the cards I haven't sold in a long time. Like, I can't sell these with all my cards right now. Yeah.
All right, man. Guys, are you buying one-of-ones? What do you do when the consolidation dries up and there's nothing left other than to put new money in? Are you putting new money in, or are you not buying anything, or how are you doing it?
That's a really good question. Let's chat. Let us know. Like, are you buying new cards, or when do you go, okay, I can't? How do you handle that? Take the one-of-ones out of it. Like that, I'm just into those right now. Just in general,
there's always something. There's always something new.
Yeah,
there's always something new to you.
How do you navigate that? Yeah, how do you navigate that? Would be interesting.
All right, DPZ. Thanks for the quickie, the Friday quick episode. I appreciate you hanging out. We'll see you again next week.
Sounds good, buddy. Take care, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.